I call this February 17th meeting of the Paducah Planning and Zoning Commission to order, and I ask that you all stand with us as we say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Mr. Summer, call the roll, please.
Benberry, Mr. Bradford, Mr. Morrison,
Here.
Pollard, Ms. Shramke,
Here.
Mr. Wade,
Here.
Chair Casillas.
Here. Mr. Morrison, you have our minutes motion, please.
Yes, ma'am. I move that the reading of the minutes for January 23rd, 2020 be waived and that the minutes of said meeting as prepared by the secretary be approved as written.
Second.
Second by Wade. Are there any corrections, additions? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Morrison,
Aye.
Ms. Shramke,
Aye.
Mr. Wade,
Aye.
Chair Casillas.
Aye. Our first item of business is an urban renewal case, and Mr. Wade, would you read that motion, please?
I move that the URCDA approve the utilization of upper story residential funds in the amount of $15,000 for one residential unit at 211 Broadway, Unit C, subject to the work being completed as proposed in the application received on January 14th, 2020.
Second.
Second by Morrison.
Hello there.
Hello.
So we have received one application for upper story residential. It's very similar to the grant application that I came to you the last time when we were here, in terms of it being a build out of the upper story of 211, Grill 211, a three bedroom, 2-bath condominium. In which it will be privately and owner occupied. They are proposing to spend about $113,000, so the total grant request is $15,000. If you have any questions, I
have one right off the bat.
Yes.
Unless I read this incorrectly, they could have up to 50,000?
15.
15.
15. Was there an error?
All projects less than 50,000, funds in excess of 50,000. So in other words, you have to have at least, I'm confused.
Sure. So the way that the grant program works is that it is based on a percentage of total construction costs per unit. So a developer potentially could do multiple units. And if that total cost for, let's say, more than one unit is more than $50,000, then the request for grant funding goes to City Commission. This only goes to urban renewal because it is one unit and is less than $50,000.
Was that clear on here, Josh, or am I not reading this correctly? Where does it say 15% or something? I mean,
That question will be needed.
It's on the first page here in terms
Yes.
of eligibility requirements. So financial assistance for the project shall not exceed 20% of construction costs or a maximum of $15,000 per residential unit.
I got it.
Yes.
Okay, I missed that part. I read too quickly.
This may not be a direct relative, but curious.
Yes.
Can they off-sell that? Can they sell it to someone else? Or is it, you said owner, so,
It's a condominium unit that they would own, and in the future, if they would like to sell it,
they can't?
they could.
Okay.
Yes.
Just curious. Thank you.
Now, is this just the second floor?
This is actually the top floor.
The third floor,
The
okay.
third floor, and it's
Okay.
the full floor. That entire building is different owners. So the owner of the restaurant owns the first floor. The second floor is divided into two different commercial units, and then the third floor is what is being proposed for upper story residential.
Okay.
And there was a question.
Says it.
Again, relative might be sorted by grants, but this only impacts the interior.
Yes.
So if the roof needed something, or
They could
is
come
that
back to
all
us
under a
for-
different?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have different programs. A building can tap more than one grant program.
Yes.
You know, that did confuse me because I thought the second floor was already occupied, and this does say that it's requesting for the second floor, so this is actually.
To clarify, it's for the third floor. Yes, the top unit. I think, any other questions?
I was going to say, are there any other questions, clarifications? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Morrison?
Aye.
Ms. Shramky?
Aye.
Chair Casillas?
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we move along to Planning Commission business. Ms. Shramky, I believe you have the first item of business. Colonial Court.
I move that this commission adopt a resolution approving the final subdivision for property located at 100, 103, 104, 106, and 107 Colonial Court.
Second.
Second by Wade.
This should hopefully be the last reiteration the planning commission sees of this particular development. This is the final plat that combines lots 3, 4, 5, and tract A. We've did have some comments for a sign easement and also for one property line to be centered on a drainage easement, which has been fixed on the plat that Mr. Gardner has, and he can answer any further questions that you all may have.
This subdivision was approved last year. It's where the dentist office is. He had 3 additional lots back there, but somebody wanted to buy bigger than those lots, so they wanted to buy a bigger area. So to do that, we had to change the road and its location and also change the lots because there's a developer that wants to build something back there on that one lot, big lot. So he was willing to go through a lot of red tape and pay us and everybody else to approve it. Evidently, it's going to be, I don't even know what it's going to be, but he's got it sold. So it's going to be a new development right there by his dentist office. So we're closing part of the road, as Josh said, and then we did have to center up. Rick Murphy wanted us to center up one of the lot lines so it would be contiguous and go with the easement, and that's the ones you see is revised lot 4 that's on the north side of Colonial Court between 3 and 4. We did move that lot line so it could be centered on an easement where the drainage easement is to make it a little bit easier. We have a signage easement also down on Highway 62 at Old Pecan Drive. That's where they're going to put on, if they put a sign, that's where they're going to be putting it.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
The signage easement you'll
Right.
see, it's down at the intersection of Alvin Barkley Drive and Old Pecan, not New Pecan. I think that's on yours. It's on mine.
I'm missing
No,
that,
it's on.
actually.
Okay.
You have a newer plat.
Yeah.
Colgan is on which lot? His dentist office?
2,
2. And Signet is going to be in which lot?
I guess the
3, isn't it?
That's what I
3
thought.
is
the big
3.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but then
I
you said
thought-
somebody else was buying
Yeah,
that.
but I didn't know who it was.
I thought Colgan was on lot 1.
Actually, I didn't want to say it.
Yeah, Colgan's lot
That's
Okay.
what I thought. Colgan's on lot 1.
Colgan is on the corner there, right,
Yeah.
correct.
1, and then Signet's go on 3, and these two are still there.
Thank you. There's where I was trying to get to. 'cause I
2
was
and
a little
4 are still
confused.
available.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Correct.
Right. Signet will be on the revised lot 3.
Do you mind
Right.
showing us where that sign easement is going
Right.
to be? I mean,
Sure.
can you just walk around and show us real quick?
Sure.
Is that okay?
Mhm.
No, I mean, have you got your plat? Oh, okay, that's fine. I just wondered where it was going to
It
go.
is, right there.
Like
Right there
here?
in the corner.
So it'll be on lot 3, on the corner of lot 3?
It is.
Okay.
And what sign will that be? That's for whom?
It's a sign easement for them to put a sign right here,
For that owner or not?
There'll just be one sign.
just for that.
the people who build inside.
Will it be like a monument sign?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what I thought with listing each of the,
Correct.
whatever's allowed in an R4.
But the signage is there, but the entrance is going to be off of Con Drive.
The new Pecott.
Right.
Correct. But there's not that much visibility there. It's
Right.
more visibility on Alvin Barkley Drive.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Any questions, comments? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Shramky?
Aye.
Mr. Wade?
Aye.
Mr. Morrison?
Aye.
Chair proceeds.
Aye. Mr. Morrison, you have the 2229 Mildred Street.
Yes, ma'am. I move that this commission receive and file the application of West Kentucky Easter Seal Center Incorporated and Saber Management, Kentucky LLC for the proposed re-subdivision of property located at 2229 Mildred Street, 1442 and 1450 Bloomfield Avenue, 1908 North 14th Street, and 1600 North 13th Street. I further move that the requested waiver of the public hearing, the dedication of streets be given, and that approval of the submitted plat be granted.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Shramky.
Staff did have a couple comments on this. Some of those tract lines established by deed and not by plat, particularly between 1442 and 1450 Bloomfield. We did ask for those interior lot lines to be cleaned up that had been established by deed, which is done on the plat that Mr. Gardner has. And also for Saber Management, for a place for them to sign off, which I'm assuming they're going to.
We have made that, yes.
And with those being completed, staff doesn't have any further comments on it.
Basically, this is a trade with the cemetery and West Kentucky Easter Seal Center. They needed, what you see as Track A, they need an additional piece to help them with where they're constructing a softball field and some parks back in there for the kids. And for that trade, the cemetery, which is Saber Management, was willing to give them that piece of property as well as this little 10-foot strip you see there for a additional property up on North 13th Street, because that's where they can put additional, that gives them a little bit more buffer zone, as well as they can also put some more grave sites in there as well. That would just be contiguous and follow right along 13th Street. So it was a win-win for both of them.
Mr. Wade has told me that he needs to abstain on this particular item of business. So do we need to hold the vote until a little bit later in hopes that
Yes, let's hope Mr. Benberry.
Mr. Benberry will be here? I don't think that's highly irregular, is it? Would that be acceptable?
Sure, we can wait and see if
Okay.
he comes in. I can even try to get a hold of him if you'd like me to.
That would probably be great, actually, if you don't mind.
Do I need to do anything? You don't need.
Hopefully not.
Okay.
Hopefully not. We'll see. If he can't be here, then we may need to table it for another meeting.
Hey, Guy.
Hey, Joe, was you going to make the meeting tonight?
No, that's why I was texting you. You got a quorum, right?
No.
Not on one particular item because Mr. Wade has to abstain, so we need your vote.
Oh, can I vote right now?
Well, you have to be here.
Well, must be present to win, you know?
About 40 minutes from Paducah.
Oh, well, I
But
guess
that's
we
fine.
will be tabling
That
it.
will be table the motion.
Okay, we will table this.
All right.
All right.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. Thank you, Joe.
All right. Bye.
So now, Mr. Morrison, would you like
How
to?
about Valerie? Where is she?
She is on vacation.
Oh,
I make a motion that we table this,
To a date certain,
our next
regular meeting.
regular meeting.
second.
Thank you.
I have second from Shramky.
Are we holding anything up?
I don't know.
Again, that's a curiosity on my part.
Yeah, I
It's
hate
not
to
that
do
we can
that,
help it,
The
but,
construction's going on, so evidently not.
okay.
But I mean,
Being on the board of Easter Seals, I can tell you that this is a very long project.
Okay, thank you.
This is probably not going to matter that
A
much.
deal breaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, call the roll,
Okay.
please.
Mr. Morrison,
Aye.
Ms. Shramky,
Aye.
Mr. Wade,
Aye.
Chair Casillas.
Aye. So we will table that to our next meeting, next regular meeting. Mr. Wade, you have the City of Paducah zoning text amendment.
I move that the Planning Commission adopt a resolution recommending to the City Commission that case ZON 2020-006 pertaining to the text amendment of Section 126-176 of the Paducah zoning ordinance be adopted.
Second. Go ahead.
Second by Shramky and Morrison.
Staff is asking for this to be tabled generally. We have some more review to do on it. If we could please table that.
I move that this commission table generally case ZON 2020-006 pending further review by staff.
Second.
Second by Morrison. Any comments or questions? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Wade,
Aye.
Mr. Morrison,
Aye.
Ms. Shramky,
Aye.
Chair Casillas.
Aye. Ms. Shramky, you have our last item of business.
I move this commission receive and file the application of Razi Akbar for the proposed abolishment and reestablishment on an ingress-egress easement located at 100 Pheasant Run.
Second.
Second by Wade.
This is simply to give more room for a new home on the lot, because currently that ingress egress easement is 8 feet off that lot. They're wanting to move it right on that lot line to create a larger space. And Mr. Gardner, I
correct.
guess you can elaborate.
No, there's really not anything else to elaborate. We're wanting to move it over as far as we can, which is to the property line, and it still gives them plenty of access to the stormwater detention. So the builder, which is Art Burnett, as you know, out here, all these houses are rather large, and they need all the room they can get. So 8 feet was worth it. So all we've done is shift the 15-foot easement that goes to the stormwater detention site over to the property line, which would be the west property line. No property lines are being changed. It's the same lot.
Any comments, questions? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Shramky,
Aye.
Mr. Wade,
Aye.
Mr. Morrison,
Aye.
Chair Casillas.
Aye. If there's no other business to come before us tonight, we stand adjourned at 5:49.